Welcome back, dear friends, at Lit ECT YouTube channel, the one-stop destination for English learning resources. Friends, in our section Indian Literary Theory, today we are going to discuss the Sphota Theory by the great Indian grammarian and philosopher Bhartrihari. In this video, we are going to discuss all these points, important points related about this topic. So friends, Indian linguistics, the study of Indian languages, has its beginning right back into the Vedic period, the period when great Vedas were composed, and ever since a vast literature, many books, treatises, and scholarly works on the theories of word and their meaning and how a word and meaning they are associated with each other. They have come out in Sanskrit and also works in other Indian languages, ancient Indian languages like Prakrit Bhasha. In this category, Vyakaran or linguistic analysis is the study of language, which is quite natural, and also the analysis of its constituent parts and their interrelationship. How word, meaning, concept, sentence, units, they all are interrelated, how they work in tandem with each other. These all points have been discussed in Indian Vyakaran system. The Vyakaran scholars have tried to decipher how entities, singular entities or small entities like words, which have separate meaning when taken individually, हर शब्द को अलग अलग लें तो their meaning may remain different, but how they unite together, किस तरह से एक वर्ड या शब्द दूसरे से जुड़ता है and give a new meaning, और जब वो एक वाक्य बनता है then it is completely new meaning, wholly different from what was presented in them originally. So this is the base, or we can say scope of the study of Vyakaran scholars. देखिए, in Indian philosophical and Vyakaran system, speech is regarded as the verbal expression of a thought. Now, thought which is in the consciousness is expressed with the help of verbal or shabd se, and speech is the medium through which it is expressed. There is no consciousness, there would be no speech, क्योंकि स्पीच तो केवल क्या करती है, द थॉट, जो विचार हमारे मन में है, कॉन्शियसनेस में है, उसको वो बाहर की तरफ एक्सप्रेस करती है. नाउ बहुत सारे इंडियन स्कॉलर्स एंड ग्रामेरियंस हैव considered the process similar to that of evolution of this universe. This universe is also evolution from the avyakt, that is unmanifest, or which cannot be manifested, जो अव्यक्त है, जो ब्रह्म है या जो आत्मा है, and then it was manifested into material world with all the nature, mountains, trees, rivers, human beings, other lives. So from avyakt to vyakt. Similarly, जो विचार है, जो कॉन्शियसनेस के अंदर थॉट है, इट इज अनमैनिफेस्ट और अव्यक्त, एंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ वर्ड्स, through the medium of speech, it becomes vyakt. It gets a recognizable form. So walk or speech is the means to all the knowledge and the essence of consciousness. अगर ये speech ना हो, we will not be able to grasp the world, its reality, its meaning. So speech, according to Indian grammarians, is the medium through which the consciousness, the unmanifest manifest itself. ये एक important point है because it links philosophy of existence with the philosophy of language. So Indian philosophers and grammarians thought over these connections between the unmanifest and the manifest, or the thought and the speech, spent about 1,000 years gradually developing their theories, their concept, and try to find answer. And theory of Sphota of Bhartrihari is one of them. Now, let's talk something about Bhartrihari. He was a prominent 5th century Indian philosopher. In fact, there are many legends associated with Bhartrihari. There are legends that he was once a great king, a very popular king, and then because of particular circumstances, he renounced everything and become a philosopher, a rishi, and there are works associated with him, not only just as a grammarian or a philosopher, but also as a writer. Now, he is known for his influential contributions to the field of linguistics, philosophy, poetry, सब पर उन्होंने काम किया है. In addition, just like I mentioned, in addition to his work in grammar में तो उनका काम है जो इस वीडियो में हम समझ रहे हैं. Bhartrihari is also known for his poetic compositions, especially Shatak Traya. Now, Shatak Traya is 3 different books, and each book has 100 shloks. So, there is Shringar Shatak, which is 100 verses on love. Then there is Niti Shatak, 100 verses on polity and ethics, and Vairagya Shatak, 100 verses on renouncing this material world. So this is the main thing which we will focus, or a section उनकी जो book है वाक्य पदीय. In this video we will talk about this particular work. Now, most celebrated work in the field of grammar is वाक्य पदीय. It is also known as Bhartrihari's treatise on sentence and words, and some people call it Bhartrihari's take on syntax and meaning. It is a comprehensive text. A very detailed explanation is there. It explored the nature of language, meaning, reality, consciousness. All these things are linked together. The book treatise वाक्य पदीय is divided into 3 books. 3 books के अंदर ये बटी हुई है, and each book is known as one kand, and 3 kands addresses different aspects of language and philosophy. For example, the first book is Brahma Kand, and this section explores metaphysical concepts, aspects of language, means relationship between language and consciousness, and avyakt and vyakt. Language is, according to this Kand, manifestation of Brahm, the ultimate reality, the underlying consciousness of this world, the essence of this world, the avyakt, the unmanifested. In fact, even in this book, Bhartrihari has talked about the origin of speech, shabd, and meaning or earth. Second is Vakya Kand, book on sentence, in which he further elaborates his theory of Sphota, which to him the indivisible unit of meaning. Indivisible means जिसको डिवाइड नहीं किया जा सकता, which cannot be further divided, जिसको और छोटे पार्ट्स में नहीं बांटा जा सकता, and which is revealed through speech sounds, जिसको संस्कृत में ध्वनि कहते हैं. So this meaning is generated by ध्वनि. And the last one is Prakirna Kand. Prakirna Kand is a sort of various philosophical linguistical and grammatical issues are addressed in this particular book. Okay, let's focus more upon the Sphota theory. So Bhartrihari begins his treatise, his work, with the basic premise. इस सिद्धांत के साथ, इस अनुमान के साथ बात शुरू करते हैं that this universe is pervaded. There is covering, पूरे यूनिवर्स को परवेड करती है शब्द ब्रह्म. What is शब्द ब्रह्म? The eternal omnipresent essence of sound and language. Means जैसे हम मानते हैं संस्कृत के अंदर माना जाता है the origin of this universe, ब्रह्मांड की जो उत्पत्ति है, it begins with a particular sound, that is Om. And this Shabd Brahm, which is underlying everything, is the essence. As he says, Anadi Nidhanam Brahma Shabd Tattvam Yadaksharam. Means this word is basically the Shabd Brahm is without beginning, ना उसका कोई आदि प्रारंभ है और एंड, ना कोई उसका अंत है. वेरी एसेंस इज द वर्ड, जो शब्द तत्व है वो इसका आधार है. एंड यदक्षरम, और ये शब्द क्या है? इम्पेरिशेबल है, ये कभी इसका एंड नहीं हो सकता. सो इंडियन फिलोसॉफिकल सिस्टम के अंदर मोनिज्म या एकात्म को माना जाता है, जिसके अंदर माना जाता है कि दिस ब्रह्म इज इनडिविजिबल एंड आल्सो इम्पेरिशेबल. ऑल अदर फॉर्म्स, जितने भी बाकी फॉर्म है, दे आर मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ दिस एक तत्व. सो भर्तृहरि थिंक्स दैट द रियल नेचर ऑफ शब्द तत्व इज नॉट एक्सटर्नल. ये कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं है जो बाहरी दुनिया में, बट इट लाइज, इट रिसाइड्स. ये कहां रहती है? इन द इनर कॉन्शियसनेस, हमारी आत्मा के अंदर ये पाई जाती है. So for Bhartrihari, linguistic meaning cannot be conveyed by just physical utterances and perception of sound. तो जैसे एक साइंटिफिक थियरी होती है जिसमें मानते हैं कि कम्युनिकेशन इज प्रोसेस बिटवीन अ स्पीकर एंड अ लिसनर. Bhartrihari thinks that it is not just this case कि आपने फिजिकल अटरेंस, ध्वनि प्रोड्यूस करी एंड लिसनर ने उसे परसेप्शन किया और मीनिंग जनरेट हो गया. इसके लिए ही गिव्स another theory, deeply philosophical, the Sphota Theory, which treats the meaning unit, which according to Bhratrhari is sentence. उनके लिए जैसे इंग्लिश में जनरली एक वर्ड को बेसिक मीनिंग यूनिट माना जाता है और सेंटेंस जो है वो हायर यूनिट है. उससे पहले वर्ड, वर्ड के बाद फ्रेज, फ्रेज के बाद क्लॉज, क्लॉज के बाद सेंटेंस. ये सब डिविजिबल है और मीनिंग यूनिट वर्ड से स्टार्ट हो जाती है. लेकिन अकॉर्डिंग टू भर्तृहरि, दिस मीनिंग यूनिट, मिनिमम मीनिंग यूनिट इज नॉट वर्ड बट सेंटेंस, विच इज अ सिंगल एंटाइटी. सो टर्म, अगर हम स्फोट की बात करें, इट वॉज फर्स्ट मेंशन्ड, यूज्ड बाय अनदर ग्रामेरियन, पाणिनि, and he used the term Sphotayan in his treatise Ashtadhyay. Then next, Patanjali, he elaborated this concept in his book on grammar, Mahabhashya. Actually, the word Sphot comes from Sanskrit root Sphut, which means to open, to unfurl, to reveal, to develop. So this Sphut, अगर आपको एटिमोलॉजिकल थोड़ा इजी समझना हो तो आप विस्फोट वर्ड से समझ सकते हो, किसी चीज का एकदम से बाहर आना, दैट इज स्फोट. तो पाणिनि से शुरू होकर पतंजलि तक स्फोट का मेंशन तो है कि स्पीच इज सिमिलर टू स्फोट, बट द डीपर कनेक्शन जिसका थियोरेटिकल फ्रेमवर्क है वो सबसे पहले भर्तृहरि के द्वारा ही प्रेजेंट किया गया. For Bhratrihari, language is not just medium of communication. Actually, it is medium of expression of the ultimate reality, Shabd Brahma, that is ultimate reality, and मीनिंग बियरिंग वर्ड्स जो आपस में कनेक्ट होकर एक सेंटेंस बनाते हैं, वो एक्सप्रेस करते हैं इस शब्द ब्रह्म को. दिस रियलिटी इज एक्चुअली अंडरलाइंग अंटिल यूनिटी बीनीथ एवरीथिंग. ये जो अंडरलाइंग यूनिटी है, ये एक ही है. इट इज नॉट डिवाइडेड एंड इट परवेड्स द होल यूनिवर्स. जो भी यूनिवर्स है, जड़ और चेतन, जिसके अंदर लाइफ और लाइफलेस हर तरह की चीजें हैं, यूनिटी उन सबके नीचे. एंड स्पीच इज द मीडियम थ्रू विच दिस यूनिटी इज presented, this unity is brought forward to the listener. So when a speaker speaks something, communicates, अब जब स्पीकर communicate करेगा, he needs a medium. This medium can be non-verbal, like facial expression, like diagrams, or it can be verbal. और verbal जो है with the help of language. तो जो real, द लाइंग बीनीथ रियलिटी, जो अंडरलाइंग रियलिटी है, जो अव्यक्त है, जो अनमैनिफेस्ट है, वो ब्रेक फोर्थ, वो स्फुट होती है थ्रू द मीडियम ऑफ स्पीच, शब्द और ध्वनि. नाउ द स्फोट, अंतर क्या है भर्तृहरि और इनसे पहले के जो फिलोसोफर थे? फॉर भर्तृहरि स्फोट इज नॉट just the physical sound. जैसा जनरली हम विस्फोट में देखते हैं, it is not just the sound which is coming out of mouth of the speaker, but also the underlying essence of language. Which language? Which conveys the meaning. It is actually bursting forth or coming forth of the meaning in the mind of the listener when speech sound are heard. So now Sphota is not just the sound, it is also the idea which is carried from the mind of the speaker to the mind of the listener. So इस Sphota के साथ, through the help of words, not just the sound but also the idea or the meaning or the thought is also expressed or communicated. The two aspects of the word, one is sound, dhvani, and other is meaning, earth. It may be differentiated in the mind because meaning resides, earth is unmanifested, avyakt, while dhvani is manifested or vyakt. But in Sphota, they are integrated like two sides of the same coin, and these two sides collectively make the Sphota. Now, perception of meaning occurs when the mind of the listener grasps the Sphota through the medium of dhvani. The sequential sounds of speech. When a speaker, जब एक speaker starts to speak, बोलना शुरू करता है, there is a sequence of sound followed by one another, and this sequence of sound activate the Sphota. वो listener के mind के अंदर Sphota को activate करता है. इनफैक्ट Sphota activate पहले होता है speaker के mind में, उसकी वजह से एक series of sound generate होती है, then it comes to the listener, और ये सीरीज ऑफ साउंड्स, ये सीक्वेंस ऑफ साउंड लिसनर के मन में भी उसी स्फोट को क्या करता है? एक्टिवेट कर देता है, और देन यूनिफाइड मीनिंग, द कंप्लीट मीनिंग इज अंडरस्टूड बाय द लिसनर. सो मेन इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट in this context by Bhartrihari is that Sphota is eternal and unchanging. It exists actually independent of the transient speech sound dhvani. Dhvani comes and goes. एक बार बोला और वो उसके साथ ही it finishes, but Sphota remains unchanging. Dhvani may come from different persons having different speech abilities and qualities. उनकी जो ध्वनि, उनका जो साउंड है, प्रोलोंगेशन, ड्यूरेशन, पिच, ये सारे अलग अलग हो सकते हैं, बट the sphota remains same. While the sounds may vary, the sphota remains constant. इसके लिए भर्तृहरि gives a detailed explanation. All beings are born with शब्द और speech power innate. ये हमारे अंदर by birth होती है. He calls these primary sounds प्राकृत ध्वनि. प्राकृत ध्वनि is not realized by us until we grow up. ये हमारे अंदर एक तरह का इंस्टॉल्ड सिस्टम की तरह होता है जो हम काफी जब तक 3 या 4 साल के नहीं हो जाते एक्टिवेट नहीं होता. नाउ एज द चाइल्ड ग्रोज अप, ये जो इनर शब्द है इज ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड इनटू द पर्टिकुलर लैंग्वेज ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर स्पीच कम्युनिटी. इन द मॉडर्न कॉन्टेक्स्ट इफ वी टॉक, जैसे कोई बच्चा ही इज his upbringing is done in southern India or in northeast India or west India or north India or outside India. तो प्राकृत ध्वनि is the machine, the software जो उसके अंदर इंस्टॉल है. नाउ जैसे जैसे बच्चा बड़ा होगा, सॉफ्टवेयर विल ट्रेन द स्पीच अकॉर्डिंग टू द कम्युनिटी इन विच द चाइल्ड इज ब्रॉट अप. This particular second step, the language she acquires is called secondary sound or Vaikrat Dhvani. It is Vaikrat because it differs from person to person, from region to region, from area to area. So there is difference in this particular Dhvani. Now primary sounds are produced by the initial vibration of articulatory organs. हमारा जो प्राइमरी साउंड एक बार स्टार्ट हम कर देते हैं आर्टिकुलेटरी ऑर्गन से, बट व्हेन द वाइब्रेशन स्टॉप्स द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ साउंड डज नॉट सीज. ये प्राइमरी के बाद सेकेंडरी उसको पिकअप कर लेता है. सीरीज ऑफ सेकेंडरी साउंड वैकृत ध्वनि कम आउट फ्रॉम द इनिशियल साउंड. These secondary sounds help in the continued perception of Sphota. The sequence of the secondary sound, एक के बाद एक continued perception of Sphota. बहुत important concept है, इसको और अभी अच्छे से समझेंगे. Bhratrhari explained it with the analogy, the example of a flame. जैसे एक दिया या फ्लेम या मोमबत्ती होती है. वन फ्लेम लाइट्स अनदर फ्लेम, दैट फ्लेम स्टिल अनदर एंड द प्रोसेस गोज ऑन, एक के बाद एक. और उससे क्या होता है, जो इल्यूमिनेशन है वो बढ़ता चला जाता है. एंड स्फोटा प्रोड्यूसेस sound, that sound produces still another until we reach the complete meaning. What he says, अर्णीयस्थम यथा ज्योति प्रकाशांतर कारणम. जिस तरह से अर्णी और लाइट और जो फ्लेम है वो एक के बाद एक दूसरी चीज को आगे रोशनी देती रहती है. इन द सिमिलर मैनर द सीक्वेंस ऑफ द साउंड्स makes the perception more and more clearly. In fact, Bhartrihari uses another example. एक और example use करते हैं स्फोटा के लिए. And just like the image of the moon appears to be reflected on the water. Now, moon is in its place, stable. It is immovable, but the reflection may change. Similarly, जो स्फोट और प्राकृत ध्वनि, दो आइडिया, इट रिमेन्स स्टेबल, वो वहीं का वहीं है. बट वैकृत ध्वनि से निकलने वाला साउंड इट मे अपीयर डिफरेंट, बट रिफ्लेक्शन तो वो सेम ही चीज है. मतलब स्फोट से निकल जो स्पीकर के स्फोट से निकलने वाला आइडिया है उसका रिफ्लेक्शन अलग अलग पॉन्ड में, अलग अलग रिवर या किसी और जगह may appear different, but it is actually reflecting the same and one thing. Pratibimbam yatha anyatra sthitam toye kriyavashat means pratibimb or the reflection may appear different in the water, but actually it represent it represent the immovable, the constant sport, just like the immovable moon. Movement is the quality of the water. Vibration is the quality of dhvani. Just like the movement of water may look because of the movement of water, it may appear that the reflection is different, but actually, similarly, the vibration in the dhvani may appear that the sport is different, but actually it remains same. Now, the process, how this whole process goes on. At first, the word exists in the mind of the speaker as a unity or a sphota. When he utters it, he produces a sequence of different sound. For example, Rama. So, sequence of different sound. Rama. 4 different sounds. The listener, though first hears a series of sound, Rama, ultimately perceives the utterance as a unity. Now the listener does not care about how R or A or Ma or A is spoken. He takes it as a unity. Thus, the same sphota with which the speaker begin and then meaning is conveyed. In this connection, Bhartrihari says, यथा अनुपूर्वी नियमो विकारे क्षीर बीजियो तथैव प्रति प्रत्रनाम नियतो बुद्धिषु क्रमः. Or we should try to understand is just as there is definite sequence in the transformation of milk or of the seed. Now you cannot escape the step. इट कैन नॉट हैपन कि जब दूध से दही बनता है तो कोई स्टेप को स्किप करके आप कर दो. बट और सिमिलरली सीड का जो जिस तरह से सीड चेंज होता है एक प्लांट के अंदर, उसकी एक निश्चित स्टेप बाय स्टेप प्रोसेस होता है, डेफिनेट सीक्वेंस होता है. इन द सिमिलर मैनर कॉग्निशन ऑफ परसीवर, how the perceiver, how the listener understand the meaning take place in regard of word of a sentence. Step by step, sound by sound, जैसे जैसे दूध से दही जमने की प्रक्रिया होती है, अगर हम ऑब्जर्व करें, फर्स्ट स्टेप पे हमें नहीं पता चलता कि दूध का दही ऐसे जम जाएगा. सेकेंड, थर्ड, फोर्थ और फिफ्थ स्टेप आते आते, लास्ट स्टेप आते आते परसेप्शन क्लियर होने लगता है. एंड फाइनली वी रियलाइजेस दैट इट इज कर्ड. सेम थिंग हैपेंस विद सीड एंड सेम थिंग हैपेंस विद दिस फूड. जब जो लिसनर है फर्स्ट साउंड रिसीव करता है, he may have just a vague idea what it is about. The more sounds he or she listens to, the idea, the meaning becomes more clear. Each sound uttered by the speaker reveals it step by step. It means the sport, the meaning. First one vaguely, second one more clearly, and so on until the last one reveals it in all clarity. So once again, I want to point out that individual sounds, individual words does not matter. It can be understood with the analogy that when from a distance a tree is seen, आप बहुत दूर हो, now one step you take, आपको पहले लगता है कि an elephant is standing there. You take first step, it becomes more clear, no, it cannot be elephant. And then as you go near and near and near, step after step, the perception becomes more clear, and finally you reach there, you realize that it is a tree, not an elephant. Bhartrihari claims that other means of knowledge, there may be other means, and Indian philosophy talks about them also, like inference, किसी से अनुमान लगाना. In these system, there is either revelation of meaning or not, means there is fixed yes and no. It is only the perception by degrees, step by step degrees, where it is first seen vaguely, it is unclear in the mind of the listener or perceiver, and then more and more clearly until it reveals itself completely clearly. Now I have already pointed out that Bhartrihari also belonged to the school of Akhand Vakya Sphota. Now we have understood the process of Sphota. Now let's talk about what he means by Akhand Vakya Sphota, which maintains when one hears or speaks a sentence in an ordinary conversation, The sentence is not understood word by word or a series of meaningful units. No, a sentence is a unitary whole in which individual words does not have any significance. सारे words मिलकर एक meaning generate करते हैं. He also claims that merely perceiving the sounds of word is not enough to understand this true meaning. हमने स्पीकर की तरफ से तो बात कर ली that there is an idea underlying the speaker's consciousness and he speaks, वो बोलता है, then it is perceived by the listener. अब हम बात करते हैं रिसीवर की, लिसनर की. इट इज नॉट जस्ट कि उसने उसको अपनी श्रवण ग्रंथियों के द्वारा उसको केवल लिसन कर लिया. द अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ स्फोट, द अंडरलाइन एसेंस, द ट्रू मीनिंग, इट रिक्वायर्स द इंट्यूशन, द इनसाइट, जिसको भ्रतृहरि टर्म देते हैं प्रतिभा. प्रतिभा इन द माइंड ऑफ लिसनर आल्सो. इफ द लिसनर लैक्स दिस क्वालिटी, देन द कंप्लीट आदान प्रदान जो है, गिव एंड टेक है, वो फुलफिल नहीं होगा. बिकॉज सेंटेंस मीनिंग इज नॉट बेस्ड ऑन वर्ड मीनिंग. सेंटेंस इज द बेसिक यूनिट ऑफ स्पीच which is undivisible without the limit of time and succession. So means sentence meaning is like an instantaneous flash of insight or intuition into the mind of the listener. When the speaker starts his speech word by word in succession, it reaches the listener and then suddenly there is a flash and the sport or the underlying essence or the meaning is conveyed. So the whole process can be summed up in the following steps. The first step is obviously the origin of meaning. There should be an intention. What Bhartrihari calls ichha should be in the mind of the speaker. This initial thought, intention exists as a meaningful concept, unified, known as Sphota. Then to express this thought from avyakt to vyakt, from unmanifest to manifest, the speaker transforms the internal intention into a series of sound or dhvani. These sounds are produced sequentially, one after other, in a fixed order. It might appear they are separate entities, they have their separate meanings in term of time because they are spoken one after the other space, but it is not the case. Bhartrihari emphasizes these sounds are not isolated, they are not separated, but they are interconnected and they form part of a single unified entity, that is the sentence, the basic unit of meaning. The communication process is not complete until the entire sentence is uttered. So this is about how the speech conveys the meaning. Now come the last part, the listener's perception. The listener receives these sounds again sequentially. In the sequence in which the speaker speaks, similarly the sequence the listener receives. Despite again the sequential arrival of the sound, the listener perceives the sentence as a complete whole. For the just like the speaker, for the listener also it is complete whole. Through this process of continued perception and integration of each sound, the original Sphota that originated in the mind of the speaker is re-manifested, re-imagined by the listener. K.A. Subramaniam Iyer, a great scholar on Indian philosophical system, he sums up Bhratrhari's theory. What Bhartrihari tries to establish is that the sentence and the sentence meaning, they are indivisible units. You cannot divide a sentence into parts. They alone are the real Shabd Brahma. Individual words and meanings have neither definiteness nor reality. They exist independently. They don't exist. Communication is done with sentences, not with individual words. So friends, we can sum up this video that Bhratrhari's theory is deeply rooted in the philosophy of language because it asserts, ये मान के चलती है, language is just not a tool of communication, but it is also a fundamental aspect of reality. Without language, we cannot understand the world. It had a profound impact on Indian grammatical tradition, debates in Indian philosophy about what is the nature of meaning, relationship between the word and the object they represent, and the process of cognition. His emphasis on the holistic means complete and instantaneous nature of comprehension, that is the pratibha of the listener, and its influence on ancient and modern thought, it make it a significant contribution to the study of language and philosophy. That's all, dear friends, in today's lesson. Soon we will come up with another theorist, another concept. Stay with me, support me. Thank you, friends.